I finished stringing together the 3 strands that create the second multi-strand. There's a Rokal, the middle frosted light matte amethyst crystals, and then the other opposing strand of the Rokals. Now, the neat thing about the bead stoppers is you can string one, stop it, and then take your needle off and string another one and put the bead stopper on, so you don't have to worry. You can move it around and the beads stay nice and secure. So now I'm ready to attach the second end of the bead tip to complete this strand. So I'm going to take the bead stoppers off, and then group all 3 together, pulling it up so that the beads are relatively close there where they start. And then I will, let me close in here a little bit, take the strands and put them on the big eye needle. Again, this is just temporary until I can get the bead cap on there. Now, if you have different lengths of the thread, which I always seem to do, it takes a little bit of care to get it strung on there, but once you got it on there, you're good. Okay, so now you're going to take the bead tip, and there's an opening in the bottom here. You string the needle through the opening and bring it down to rest on top of the beads. And like with the other end, I'm going to take a seed bead in the middle here. Let's see. There. And bring it down. And I'm also going to come back up through it, and that will give it more strength to stay secure in the bead tip. There. Okay, there's the bead going down into the bead tip. Now I can take the needle off, and then I can use the opposing threads to set the tension for that bead at the top. And you see how the 2 strands on the left and the right are pulled tight, but this one in the middle is loose. That's because there's a 3rd strand that I need to pull in order to get it to come up. So once you pull all the strands, the beadwork comes up tight against the bead cap, and then you can begin to tie it off. And use the same method as when you began to string the bead tip, and do a surgeon's knot and group them together 2 at a time to increase the strength and durability of the knot. Okay, now my knot is ready, and all I have to do is cut the threads, and if I want, I can go ahead and place that dab of hypo cement and let it set for 10 minutes before closing, and then I will have my second strand ready to go. Alright, I've got all 9 strands put together in 3 combined strands. I've got them laid out: crystal, Rokal strip, crystal, Rokal strip, crystal, Rokal strip, crystal, Rokal strip, crystal. So they alternate nicely. Now I need to secure each end, well, one end so that I can do the twist, and then the other end so that I can go ahead and attach the clasps once everything is in place. Now, they don't have to lie exactly nice and neat. If there's a little bulk or a twist to it, that's fine. It'll add to the overall appearance of the twist design. So I am going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to take a needle, and with my bead mat I'm going to bring the needle up through the bead mat and I'm going to secure it through the edge, or the circle, the tip of the bead tip. And then I'm going to go down in the bead mat again, and then come up again, and I'm going to attach the second eye, if you will, of the bead tip, and then I'm going to go down again, and I'm going to come up again one more time. I'm going to attach the last eye of the bead tip there, and then go down in the bead mat again. So everything is nice and secure. The needle is holding it down. So now I'm going to flip the bead mat. I'll expand this out a little bit. And now I am going to take the 3 groups of strands, and I'm just going to do them like a little modified braid. Nothing really fancy. Just flip it until I get it to the desired twist. And that's a nice twist there. So now I'm going to take another needle and I'm going to secure this end here. Since I'm going to be securing the clasp, this end first, I'm only going to secure the other 2 bead tips so that they don't change position at all. And I keep the nice twist that I've got here in the work. There. And you don't have to use a beading needle. You can use another needle or even a safety pin if you want. It's just to keep it secure in its position so that it doesn't move around on you. Okay, so I'm going to get my clasp. Remember, this is a slide clasp, so you want the bevel end on one end and you want the opposing bevel end on the other end for the other end of the clasp. So I am going to attach, using my jump rings, each one of these bead tips to each one of these poles, corresponding poles on the clasp. I've finished attaching the clasp at each end, and close the clasp, and there is a very nice amethyst crystal bracelet.